don't think I'm in focus. Anyone ever use one of these? Gives a nice bit of light. Mad skills. So, as you can see, fresh clothes, kind of fresh faced. In the last video we covered a lot. In fact, it's not even another video. This is a continuation. Maybe we'll break this down into other videos, I'm not sure. It is long enough to break down into about 40 videos. We covered like metrics, the importance of metrics, targeting your audience. So we just kind of covered why you should make a sales video, why it's important, why you should make a product video, why that's important. This part of the videos cover and explain the videos and why it's important to make them. So yeah, these are the top 3 reasons why you should make and explain a video. So it's brand awareness, brand identity, and to teach your audience about yourself. Well, number 1 is to create brand awareness. We've kind of covered this just now, but this is a short passage from the book. Think of an explainer video as a short introduction into your brand and your service. It's a good way to introduce yourself and your product and your service to your prospect. And because it's kind of like cold call traffic, cool as in C-O-O-L, not cool. Sorry, my southern twang. It's normally the first kind of video. It needs to be good. It needs to get your point across. The second one is to teach your audience. So explainer videos offer a different kind of education as opposed to a tutorial or a product video. They're not often long enough to go into a lot of detail, so you need to cover the main points quite quickly. It's also your first chance to make your audience aware of what your product is and what problem it solves. That's the big one. You need to get across what the problem is and what your solution to that is. Otherwise, what's the point? These videos are really good at explaining to your audience what your purpose is. Number 3, establish brand identity. As I said before, these are generally the first impression that your audience get of you and your brand, so they tend to leave a lasting impact. That's it. That was a quick one. So summary for that. Explainer videos show what your product and service is and what problem it solves. Okay, this next one's covering the reasons you should make a lifestyle video. So these tend to show who you are and what your brand stands for. They're great for building rapport between you and your customers. They tend to be of a more behind-the-scenes-y kind of approach. It gives a lot of insider knowledge. The aim is to get across what your brand represents, the values that you and your brand hold, and hopefully your audience will share the same values. A well-executed lifestyle video will include the product somewhere in the content. A lot of brands tend to forget this, or they try and be quite unique and, you know, try and be a bit quirky, but they don't include it. And this isn't a great approach. You really need to get across what your product is. Somehow, you know, slide it in there. I'm not really sure how a lot of companies do this. There must be some kind of subtle way to incorporate your product, your service, or, you know, whatever it is into your video somehow. I wish I could offer some advice on how to do this, but I'm really not sure. So lifestyle videos don't tend to be like a direct CTA, call to action. They probably won't direct you to a product page or a squeeze page. It's more likely to send them to an about me page or an overview of what your brand is. Let them decide what they want to do from there. Lifestyle videos are a great way to build brand loyalty and help your customers overcome objections they might have. They're far more likely to be prepared to pay for a product or service if your views align. That was it for that one. That's pretty easy. This next part's about why you should make a video tutorial. We do a lot of this here. You know, we've got some really intuitive, easy to use software. You know, the videos platform. It's not that we need to make tutorials. It's just really handy. People want to be guided and people want to have a lot more insight knowledge. It tends to help to sell a product if they know what they're doing, or, you know, retention to the platform. So tutorial videos tend to be more screen capture kind of footage. So there's a lot of good apps on PC and Mac. Mac actually has a really good built-in screen capture app, but it lets you record what you're doing. It's also lets you record audio, but it's a good way to kind of quickly go over what your product and service is. If it's like an online app, or if you want to tell someone how to buy something on your website, anything like this. Tutorials tend to be what your customers need after buying the product and service. They are really good lead magnets as well. So as an example, you could have like a hairstylist or a makeup artist making a tutorial on, oh God, I don't know anything about makeup. Wedding makeup, and they send that out there, and you can potentially get some more customers walk through the door that way. So while software demos are more useful for like customer testimonials sort of stuff, they can work for anything that needs a little bit more explanation. For example, a credit card company can give an overview on how to improve your credit score. You know, they do this with tutorial videos. Or a real estate agent can create one about home inspections. There's so many examples. So you can literally make a tutorial about anything. These videos will eventually, when I've covered all this boring be far more tutorial based, or give an overview on how to use camera equipment or sound equipment or lighting. So I'll probably get a camera. In fact, I'll get a camera here and I go through the settings, I'll show you what it all does. But I have the physical camera in my hand and go through it that way. It's a lot easier. The same with like screen captures. A lot of tech YouTube video guys tend to go with phones, computers, you know, go in depth into menu overviews and stuff. These are great for companies and services that tend to have a little bit more complex or intuitive, innovative kind of software and products that maybe people don't know too much about or aren't familiar with. It's a great way to help the customer like navigate and understand more, hopefully leading to more sales. So this bit is about when to use a documentary. Now, we've recently made a documentary at the beginning of the year called Fade to Black. Coincidentally, that was like an upsell sales kind of documentary piece for the Fade to Black course. They tend to be very story-led, overcoming struggles and issues and having an epiphany moment and then solving a problem. For an example, we shot the Fade to Black documentary and it covered Joey's story. The whole premise was, you know, from broke to a £30 million software company. We covered his struggles, you know, being broke, looking for solutions, using his skills to overcome that problem. Shot a load of video. He then went on to sell courses about video. He wanted to teach animation, but didn't have the technical ability to do so or the time. So he came up with a really good solution, met some business partners, and that's how the videos platform was built, and that's how they made all their money. But yeah, tends to be a very emotional, story-led piece. Documentary is also great if you want to follow customer success stories. So showing off how your product and service has directly impacted one of your clients, customers, how they've benefited. And this is a great way to show other potential users how it can benefit them. It's a bit more relatable if they have something to aspire to. Joey's written it quite well, actually. He says, documentaries can humanize your business even more than lifestyle videos. What he means is, because they tend to be longer pieces of content and they follow a story, they can show people the vulnerabilities of creating something. So although they're like a really powerful way to show off your product or content, they tend to be longer form, and which means they tend to be longer to make, so they're more time consuming and potentially cost a lot more money. So it's not always right for every business. So if you decide that's the kind of content you need to make for your business, don't be afraid to make it a lot longer than you typically would for other videos. Like think 15 minutes plus. I think the Fade to Black was like 40 minutes long. There'll be a link to it below this video somewhere, as well as the course and the book and the videos platform and everything else we sell and want to make money from. If streaming services have taught us anything, you know, like Netflix and YouTube and Amazon Prime, it's that people consume a lot more long form content and prefer it. Documentaries tend to be one of my favorite things to shoot. I come from a TV commercial background, really creative. A lot of planning and pre-production goes into it. They tend to look great. So for show real stuff, love them. But documentaries are a really fun piece of content to make. It tends to be over a longer period of time. I like story-led content. When I shot the Fade to Black stuff, it was my first few weeks at the company here, and I got to go away with the guys and very quickly got to learn a lot more about them because of the story they were telling. You know, I was lucky enough to shoot that and get some real insight into their struggles before building the videos platform and how they've done so well. And it's actually been really inspirational for me myself. Like, it's actually led to me being on camera now, which I never thought I'd do. But it's a really good way to give insight to you and your brand. It definitely helps to build a bit more trust on the customer side towards you. Failing that, just make up some really bad sob story like on X Factor or whatever it's called in America. So social media ads. We've kind of covered this before, but social media ads like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's quite a big platform now to do social media ads. These tend to be a lot shorter, more impactful adverts and videos. They need to be really punchy and engaging and, you know, have some good cinematic, high-ish production value, or at least look like it's high production value. And it's a great way to quickly show how your products and services can help your customers. Facebook ads are quite unique in that viewers can comment on them, which isn't always a good thing.
Sacha Baron Cohen has another hilarious video on how to pay money to get a logo on your screen.
But it does mean you need to put extra effort into it. You know, once you get a bad comment, that doesn't go away. These videos need to look good and be personable. Try to actually show the person talking as well as the product and service. YouTube ads. If you're following or subscribing this channel, then you would have probably seen a fair amount of YouTube ads from videos. We've shot a lot. So like the social media ads, the YouTube ads should be really cinematic and aim to grab attention. You know, this is your first chance to make an impression and draw customers in. But when it comes to YouTube ads, you really need to crank up the quality and making these videos look great, because if it's on YouTube, it tends to be that the viewers are already watching some really good content that is visually engaging, so they're likely to switch off and watch if it's, you know, a shitty looking ad. And if it looks amateur in comparison to the other stuff that they're seeing on YouTube, it's less likely to convert. Next one's an email list. Educational kind of how-to videos work really well in an email list. They're also likely to be interested in sales videos for other products. Our ratio here is for every 2 educational videos, there's 1 sales video. The next one is casual social content. This tends to be the stuff you put out to build a following. So on Instagram, like live video, Facebook live video, short form, behind the scenes kind of content. Educational content, tricks, tips, and advice tend to work really well as well. It kind of gives you a bit more authority in your field. These videos don't tend to have like a direct CTA. Instead, they offer something of more value, like information, and it's a great way to get cold traffic warmed up to your brand. These, like I said, this is just casual content. They can be short, but long videos don't hurt either. You know, with the introduction of like IGTV, it allows you to have a short 60-second clip, which, you know, hopefully people will be engaged by that and want to watch a longer version. Videos tip: don't try to make a viral video. There isn't really a predictable formula for one. It tends to be very random that these videos go viral. Like, although we cover how to make your videos more shareable, ultimately you don't really care how many people view your video. You care more about how many people buy your product. You know, 100,000 views means bugger all if only 2 people buy your product. Instead, focus more on the strategy. So in Joey's book, it covers these in a lot more detail than I will, and again in the Fade to Black as well. He goes over it a lot clearer than maybe I can do, because metrics isn't my favorite thing. So you can't really just toss your video out there and hope for the best. Yeah, there's potential that it might work, it might be good, but you don't know how well it's performing if you don't look at these metrics. Like, how do you know if your video is efficient or not? To be able to make good decisions on these videos and the next few videos, you don't need a massive amount of information, but these are the best metrics to get minimal information and provide maximum results. So the first one's click-through rate. You might be familiar with this kind of stuff. Essentially, this measures how many clicks your videos get. If you have a high click-through rate, you've probably written a really good script and shot a great video. Next one's conversion rate. This refers to whether your video led to an increase in sales. So sometimes you might be in a situation where your video has great views, but the conversion rate stays the same. So they're engaging, but the conversion rate isn't changing. So this makes it a really important metric to watch. Again, all those clicks and likes don't mean bugger all if no one's buying your product. Next metric to watch out for is engagement. All of these metrics can be found within YouTube. Engagement measures how many people subscribe, view, liked, commented on your videos. High engagement tends to mean your audience is interested in what you have to say. Next one's retention rate. I'm sure this one's low for this video. Retention rate indicates how many people watched the entire length of the video. Facebook and YouTube track this metric for you. Retention rate and view time, which we will cover in a sec, are really good for diagnosing what's wrong with your video, or if your script and video need improvement in an area. For example, like if the drop-off is within the first 35 seconds, you know you need to improve that somehow. Maybe it's not punchy enough, or you're not providing enough value in that first 35 seconds. Something you need to work on, you know, re-edit it, reshoot it, redo it. So this one's view time or watch time. It kind of goes without saying, the more of the video that someone's watched, the more likely they are to buy your product or service. As a rule of thumb, view times of 10% is poor, 20 to 30% is average, and 40 to 50%, you know, is excellent. I reckon I'm in the 5% mark. Video platforms like YouTube will track your watch time. In fact, YouTube actually factors in the watch time when they rank the videos to recommend. Oh, videos tip. Sites like Vimeo and Facebook offer like basic metrics. Well, platforms like Wista has like really good metrics. A bit of a boring video tip. ROI, which means return on investment. You know, it's pretty important to pay attention to your ROI. So you need to keep track of like the investments you've made into equipment, software, time. Your first videos are bound to take longer than your future videos, but you really need to keep a track on your time. For example, if your time's worth £100 an hour and you spend 10 hours on making a video, that's $1,000. you've already invested a lot of money. These first few videos for us in this YouTube series, they're more likely going to take quite a long time as well. I'm lucky enough to have an editor here to co-edit a lot of these videos, so I shoot every day. I tend to come in early in the morning, spend an hour or 2 hours like shooting this content, and then pass it on to my editor, who then quickly sticks it all together. We add in what we need and we ship it out. But it's a learning process for us too. So these first 3 or 4 have taken quite a long time to do. That's both on the filming side for me and the editing side for him. But the more we do, the quicker we learn, the quicker the process is. It'd be the same for you guys. Next one is affiliate marketing. Social media influencers and affiliates can be a great way to get exposure for your service and product. I know we do a lot of affiliate marketing here. It's a great way to leverage their audience, so they might have a larger audience and viewer base. So it's a good way to kind of lean on them to get more exposure, you know, and put you in front of new users. But you also got to consider the fact that their users and contacts might not be your typical customer. You might have to create more of a unique message for them, which we'll go over in future videos. The next one is leveraging current events in popular culture. If you make more topical content that relates to your market, then you can dramatically increase engagement. Information that's in the news at the moment, stuff that's trending in pop culture, right off the back of that, piggyback it. I'm sure the current situation with a certain virus has been leveraged a lot recently. It kind of goes the same for like backdating as well. If you reference something that your millennial audience don't understand, it might not come across as well. For example, like if I reference something about JFK, none of these youths are going to know about that. Videos tip: SEO, or search engine optimization, doesn't matter as much as you think it might. Everyone's always talking about maximizing your SEO. I'm always talking about maximizing my SEO. I'm just going to read this straight from the script. SEO is what makes it possible for search engines like Google to index your content, so users can video your video. I'm sure there's a typo there. This is obviously not the final book. So. It's like you get a lot of marketing agencies always talking about optimizing your SEO to maximize your sales results. So the truth is, like, your websites and videos are probably already optimized for SEO. Squeeze page. A squeeze page is a form of quality-led generation. It's essentially a landing page that offers some form of value, like a course or a PDF or an ebook. It tends to be in exchange for their information, like an email address. Squeeze pages tend to generate quality leads, because if they're prepared to give you their email address details before they've even got to your web page, then you know they're already interested in your product and service, which means you know off the bat that you can invest using their details and send them other offers and information about your product and service via the email address. Video content guide. In the same way you'll likely always make like a mashup video, you're likely to mix and match different video types to create the right feeling for your video. For example, you can integrate product videos into testimonial videos, or lifestyle videos into documentaries. You know, whatever video it works for you and is right for you. So you shouldn't be asking, how long should my video be? You should be asking, how long will it take to convert? It seems a little confusing. Length will always depend on the kind of video you're shooting. You know, what action do you want your audience to take, and what platform you're going to use it on. You know, a successful video can range from 10 seconds if you use Tech Talk, 3 minutes on Facebook, 60 seconds on Insta, you know, or 15 to 20 minutes on YouTube. The most important thing to keep in mind is, how long will it take for your video to convert? Depending on those factors, you can pretty much work out the best way to be efficient with your time. Choosing your topic. ABC rule, the simplest way to make engaging video. If this huge amount of information that I've just divulged in this video still doesn't make any sense, then this next tip is for you. So the ABC rule. If your brand is about bananas, then make a video about bananas. Joey calls this the ABC rule: apples, bananas, and carrots. If you make glow-in-the-dark socks, show a video about glow-in-the-dark socks. If your service is about personal training, make a video about personal training. If you're a dentist, show some teeth or something. You know, people agonize over the kind of content they need to put in their video, when in reality, your customer's just interested in your apples. Is that an innuendo? Which means they want to watch a video about apples. Don't destroy your conversion rate by overcomplicating things and making a video about something other than what your fundamental product and service is. If you're still drawing blanks, find out what the top influencers are making and get some ideas. Don't copy. Just get some ideas, you know, scale it up. Turn what is clearly a good idea into a great one. Make it work for you. Oh, thank God, that's the end of it. I'm so sorry about this video. I promise you we will start making some more interesting content. When it gets to the technical and how to do stuff and how to film stuff, the stuff that I know about, it will be much more engaging. Peace. I've just shot some more footage, Tom. How are you getting on with your Reddit?
I can't do it anymore. It's just the most boring shit I've ever been through.
What?
I'm sorry.
I mean, I understand it's not great content, dude, but...
It's I'm sorry. Just sorry.
Tom.
Sorry, I can't do it.
Tom.